Hey, everybody, welcome. My name is Mark Husson, and I thought today we were going to talk about the sign of Aries. Now, this is like probably the fourth or third in a series. We started with the modalities, which is the segments of seasons. So the beginning of a season is called cardinal. That's the mode is cardinal. The middle is fixed, and the last one is mutable. And then we have the beginning of the season, cardinal, the element of fire, which makes Aries. And that's where we're going to start because everything starts with Aries. It's supposed to start with Aries. They get mad if it doesn't start with them. They're not even here if it starts with them. So the idea is let's learn a little bit about how cardinal fire makes Aries and what it is to be an Aries. What does it feel like to be an Aries? What part of your chart has Aries in it? Where is it? And how are you like that in that area of your life? So we're going to get into that. Let's start breaking it down a little bit. So first of all, I want you to think about Aries as cardinal fire, aggressive fire, fire that has a push and a pulse. It's like that seed that bursts through tons of soil to become a tree. It's a great image here. And what I want you to understand with that is that is inside of every Aries that's born. There's that kind of energy rumbling inside of them. Aries are the tougher children. It rules the head. It's a ram with the horns. And so you see a lot of Aries have a prominent forehead or a big head or are known to have head injuries as children because they're sort of like head down and move. That's what they like to do. And I bet you've met an Aries that doesn't have any of that energy, that's calm and quiet and sheep-like. We call those the sheep Aries. But you know what? Same motive. No matter how you look at it, they get what they want. We're going to talk about that whole Aries thing. Now, let's go start with the mythology. I love to use a little mythology. I use a lot of Liz Green and a lot of the support of her wisdom and deep understanding of the mythological process. And I've dumbed it down for real because I had to for me to even understand it. So this is basically Jason and the Argonauts. And Jason was supposed to be an heir to a throne. It was his right to have, but his little evil uncle sent him on a mission and said, you got to go get that golden fleece to break a curse. You have to get it. Notice that the fleece is the skin of a ram. So that's the golden fleece. And I know as kids, we loved Jason and the Argonauts. And then there was a remake, which wasn't quite as good. But Jason goes on that quest and he gets help. He gets help from Medea, who he ends up marrying and then betraying her. But whatever, he does get a lot of help along the way and he does all these battles and he wins. He's like such a warrior. The quest. And he gets that fleece and he comes back and he does get the throne, but then everything sort of befalls him and it's sort of like, details. But here's the idea behind that. First of all, we have to understand Aries will go into these dangerous situations on a dare because there's just something in them that they feel like they have to prove. And it's whether it's a prove to an imaginary uncle, a father figure, a mother figure, there's something in there where Aries wants to prove themselves. And a lot of those little fables where, the scorpion needed a ride and said, I promise I won't sting you. I think it was to a frog. And so they swim. At the end, the Scorpio stings the frog and kills the frog. And the frog goes, why? And the Scorpio goes, because it's me. It's who I am. And so that's Aries. It's sort of this energy inside of them. They love to be the first. They love to compete and win. The other side of Aries, and I want you to think of this sign is on this spectrum. Okay. And there's like this really kind of personally positive aspect to Aries and to every sign. And there's this like not so positive, we might say is a little more selfish. But the really positive part of Aries is like the aerobics instructor, the person that can get behind you and rally you and cheer you on to victory. They love doing that. They love getting that fire, cardinal fire, remember, and pushing it under you. Now, the thing about Aries is they don't like to be required to do that. No cardinal sign, and there's 4 cardinal signs, Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, and Libra. No cardinal sign likes to be told what to do. Okay, just keep that in mind. I don't think any sign likes really to be told what to do, but I think the mutables have an easier time. The mutables have an easier time with it. Okay, so Aries loves getting that energy behind you. They love the damsel in distress mythology. They love helping the underdog. They do. They so love being the hero, coming in, being the hero, and leaving. And the thing about Aries is they're kind of independent. Right? It's not that they don't like having you with them, but they definitely don't want to be held back by you. So what they'll say is, I'm going to go on a hike. And, you might be in a relationship with them hoping that they'll invite you. And they're like, you can come if you want, but don't hold me back, right? That's the energy. And you can. They're happy to have you with them if you can keep up. But if you can't keep up, they don't want to wait for you. They want to do that thing. They want to get that energy rolling. So some people have said Aries are terrible in relationships because of that. That's not true. In fact, there's no sign bad at relationships, just different. And how we do them and understanding that gives us a key in. So you have this amazing energy brewing inside of you. And I think Aries women and Aries men do it very differently. When you're a woman, and even though I know the cultural mores change, I've been saying that for 100 years, typically as a young woman, if you have any cultural stereotypes added to you or pressure to be girly or to be, playful and easy and receptive, you are going to break those rules as an Aries. You're going to be into sports and you're going to be into climbing the trees. And in my day, we would call you a tomboy, but it's the energy of like aggression and competition inside of every Aries. Depending on the cultural state that you grew up in, depending on the rules and the mores that are in the culture that you're in, that'll either be an easy path for you or a tougher one for you. No domesticity. I mean, I don't know many Aries who love cleaning the kitchen, honestly, male or female. There is certain things that just fire signs need to not deal with. And a lot of that has to do with the real world. So if you wherever you have Aries in your chart, and we're going to get into what that means to have it in your chart, these are places where you want independence. You want to grow. You want to use that life force to go. And the worst thing that could happen to you is no challenge. Like wake up and there's no challenge, nothing to achieve, nothing to accomplish, nothing to overcome, which is a really big life force for Aries. If you have an Aries friend, you have a friend who really will go to bat for you. But the thing about Aries is you can't require them to do it. You can't expect them to do it. And the other thing is, these are just tips and tricks. But when you're in a fight with an Aries, you kind of can't back down. Okay? You can't say you're sorry for too long. Even if you found out you're wrong, you got to okay, well, I believed it at the time, and you move on. Don't over suck up to Aries. These are my little tidbit at the end. Don't over suck up. Keep yourself strong, keep yourself attentive and fair, but they don't like weakness. It's not an attractive quality they like to see in anybody, no matter what it is. You got to stay strong with that Aries because they are basically the warriors of the zodiac. And think about like a warrior and that warrior camp and that warrior mentality. They would like to protect you from being some evil doer, and then you might look weak then, but you don't want to acquiesce and overly submit to an Aries because it's not an attractive feature that I think Aries like a whole lot of. Okay. Now, I'll be adding more and more to this, but this is the Aries feature. Remember what it's composed of: fire. Anytime fire is involved in anything, it has to do with motivation, inspiration. Some of it's spiritual because it's fire. It's like that inspires. The word spirit is right in the heart of inspiration. Motivation, inspiration, activity, anger, all that's in that mix of fire. And when you have cardinal, it means you're the leader of the pack. You're moving that energy on your own. Okay, just remember that for Aries. Now, we're going to get into later these rulerships because really in astrology, there's planets and there's signs and their houses, but you only have to they all have the same definition. And the ruler of Aries, just for the sake of record, is Mars. And when we talk about Mars, we're going to be using these same adjectives and the same fiery energy. Okay? All right, thank you for listening. I will be back to talk about Taurus and all the other signs over time. Thank you so much. Take care.